Get ready to give up your crown.
Maybe you should get ready to taste defeat 3 years in a row.
Please, last year I let you win because you were sad about getting dumped.
Nice try. We both know you're losing your touch and just don't want to admit it.
Huh, yeah, right. Damn it.
You were saying?
Shut up and play.
What happens when we run out of space on a picture frame to document all my wins?
That won't be a problem. It's not like you're that good of a player anyway. It's over, Ethan. I have the high ground.
Oh no, you don't.
And Ruby Kendall has reclaimed her throne.
Ah well. I'll get it back next year.
You will try. Rookie, hand me that picture. There we go. My victory is immortalized. Happy birthday, Ethan.
Happy birthday. I should have known you'd win eventually.
I always bounce back. What is it, Rookie?
Oh, the great jug of 2018. You told them?
I mentioned it in passing as a cautionary tale. I didn't tell them the whole story. I thought you should do the honors.
Why do you always have to bring that up?
Because it's fucking hilarious. Well, go on. Tell them the story.
We were driving over to Seattle for the weekend with some other members of the pack. There was a concert we all wanted to go to, so 6 of us loaded into the car and hit the road. It was my car, but Ruby was driving because I couldn't find my license. About 20 minutes into the drive, she and I got into an argument because I kept changing the music. She said that since she was the driver, the music was her choice. I said that since it was my car, I should get to pick. No one else in the car said a word, which was a smart choice because she pulled over on a highway and demanded I get out. No, I thought she was kidding at first. But when I didn't move, she went to unbuckle her seatbelt and I panicked. I'm not proud of it, but she's terrifying sometimes. So I got out of the car, she reached over, shut the door, and drove off without saying another word. Well, I did what any shifter would do. I ran into the woods, took my wolf form, and sprinted along the highway after them. Go back to the compound and admit that my twin sister kicked me out of the car? Not a chance. Maggie would have to drive me to the concert then, and that was just not cool.
In fairness, he could have made really good time. Our wolf forms can run at about 45 miles an hour, and he didn't have to go the long way around the mountains like we did. Honestly, he may have even beaten us to the hotel, if it weren't for the suburbs. The trip was just over 100 miles on foot, and the last 20 were through a heavily populated area. Even though many humans know we exist, we're still not allowed to use our powers in populated areas. At least not when it's noticeable. He couldn't very well run through the city as a giant wolf. Unless it's a life or death situation, no shifter wants to risk getting in trouble for breaking one of our most fundamental rules.
That was the only time in my life I ever wanted to be an avian shifter. For a while I alternated between wolf and human, using the cover of trees to close the gap. But eventually I hit a point where I just couldn't leave my human form anymore. So I used the last few dollars in my wallet to get a bus pass. It took nearly 2 hours to get to the hotel on public transit, and I was absolutely filthy by the time I got there. But I did get there. I tried to look as smug as I walked into the hotel room where everyone was partying, but she just laughed at me.
It wasn't just me. We all laughed at you.
Anyway, the moral of the story is, if Ruby sets her mind to something, gods help anyone who gets in her way.
Says the guy who ran over 100 miles to prove a point. Yeah, I guess we are both pretty stubborn.
I've got to take this. Don't dig into the cake without me.
I wouldn't dream of it. Are you having a good time, Ricky? Well, good. Help yourself to more food. Even with a pack this hungry, there will be leftovers. And if you haven't tried Josh's 7-layer dip yet, get over there and try it. A troublemaker he may be, but he's also got a way with food. What? Shifters are people too. We have hobbies, talents, flaws, likes, dislikes, personal stories, complex emotions, just like everyone else. The only difference is we have animal forms and a secondary code of conduct to abide by. But I get what you mean. It's weird to see a giant wolf in a dark, ominous forest and imagine that in 2 hours he'll be in the kitchen, wearing an apron that says "Kiss the Cook" while he makes his famous jalapeno poppers for game night. You'll get used to it, Rookie. The cake. It's vanilla with raspberry filling and buttercream frosting. Yeah, I've got a sweet tooth, so what? No, it's Ethan's favorite too. Our grandma used to make it for us when we were little, so we both carry that preference. In any case, if we didn't like the same kind, I'd just defer to what he wanted. Because I like cake in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. It has nothing to do with what my brother wants. I am not a softie. Don't you dare ever call me that again, got it? Jeez. You know something? I think you're getting a little too comfortable around here. Well, yeah, I want you to feel like you're at home, but I don't recall giving you express permission to roast me. Welcome back. Are you ready to... What's wrong?
That was Director Hadley from the administration. They're issuing a warrant for Cal's arrest based on the proof we provided.
That's good. That's good, right?
They've asked for our support.
We've done it before. It's not great playing host to them, but we'll manage. Yeah, usually if the administration sends a team to perform operations, it's an expectation that the nearest clan provide hospitality and sometimes backup. That's what the Southwest building is for, temporary housing.
I wish it were that simple. They're asking for us to be involved in the arrests. Specifically...
Me. They want me.
I told them no.
And they overruled you.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I expected this would happen. They keep doing this. They have to know what kind of effect this will have on me. I'll tell you later, Rookie.
I'll be there with you. We both will, right?
Thank you. Both of you.
I wish there were some other way.
There isn't. But it'll be for the best. Less chance of something going wrong, right? Let's enjoy the party for now, okay? We can plan tomorrow morning, get the pack together, and tell them what's going on. Besides, I will need to explain a few things to my protege before then. They're the only one that doesn't know, after all.
Fair enough.
Shall we cut the cake? If there's one thing that will lift both of our spirits, it's sugar. Thank you for celebrating with us. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Look, I grabbed a couple drinks. Would you be in the mood to share them and listen to a sad story tonight? I need to explain some things before we go after Cal. Cool. Here. To another year. May it not suck. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. Cal's family were recent transplants to the area when he was born, but he only ever knew life in Evergreen. His parents were respected, and he was kind of like an older cousin to us. All young shifters who are raised into this world take turns shadowing every other member of the pack during their tasks. And since we were the Alpha's kids, that means we had higher expectations placed on us. Ethan and I helped file paperwork, manage the books, tag along to the annual meetings. We trained, and we did perimeter runs with other senior members of the pack. When Cal was 17, he was already considered a senior member because of his skill. So, once we turned 14, Ethan and I started doing perimeter runs with him a couple days a week. One day, Cal invited both of us out with him. Ethan wanted to stay behind to look over the books, so I geared up and left with Cal. Everything was fine for the first couple of hours. We made it about 2/3 of the way through our circuit, and then all hell broke loose. I started to shift for the first time. I felt much like you did. Sudden piercing headache, nausea, and intense pain shooting through my bones. Cal panicked. I screamed at him to get me home, get me back to the compound, and he tried initially, but I fully shifted before we even left the clearing. He was the first shifter I saw when I came to, so yeah, he became my mentor. Only he didn't take me back to the compound. He freaked out. I don't remember much coherently, but he was definitely panicking. I passed out, and when I woke up, I was tied up inside of a cave. I had no idea where I was, but I could tell several hours had passed. I was in pain, and I was scared, and I was alone. Completely, utterly alone. He was supposed to guide me through the shift at my first hunt and take me back to the pack, but he left me there. At the time, I assumed he'd gone for help, but that didn't stop it from feeling like a visceral betrayal. But I could barely focus on that because I was hungry. And not I could go for Taco Bell hungry. I wanted to kill. To feast. So I didn't try to set myself free because I didn't know what I would do. By the time night fell, I figured that either Cal would have gotten help or he wouldn't have returned and they'd be out looking for us anyway. I waited until the sun came up the next morning, and by then the hunger had gotten worse. I tried shifting back into my human form, but I didn't know how. So I sat there, slowly losing myself to the hunger. Eventually, my wolf took over. Completely. I have full memories of what happened, but I had no control. At some point in the late morning, a group of hikers came walking by. A family. And I smelled them, and my instincts took over. Cal must not have anticipated my strength because I broke through my bonds like they were made of wet paper. I charged out of the cave, and I killed them. 3 adults, a teenager, and a little kid. Couldn't have been older than 5. I still see them. I still feel their blood on my face, in my fur. I still hear the way they screamed. The rest of the pack found me because they heard the screaming. They were able to subdue me, and they brought me home contacted the administration. I was feral for 3 weeks, officially classified werewolf. The administration blocked me from the outside world while their best professionals worked around the clock to try to bring me back. They tried medication, they tried counselors, they tried both. Nothing worked at first. But my brother and the rest of the pack had been pushing for a chance to see me. They'd been denied, of course, but one day my brother annoyed the hell out of a security guard, and he agreed to let Ethan in for 10 minutes, no more than that. Luckily, my brother didn't need that much time. He walked in, sat down, well within biting range, I might add, and touched my paw. Said he missed me, and that I'd better get myself together because he wasn't leaving until I shifted back. It worked. The relief that I wasn't totally alone made a difference. After my brother got chewed up one side and down the other by several ranking members of the administration, they agreed to let other members of the pack see me. I was nonverbal for a very long time, but since I wasn't acting aggressively, they worked on teaching me how to control my powers. Over time, with everyone's support, I came back to myself. I got my abilities completely under control. I led a relatively normal life, but I can't forget what happened. You mean, why did they bother putting so many resources into me? Remember how I told you that I'm old blood? Yeah, that carries some weight in the shifter community. Add to that the fact that my mother was one of the most powerful shifters of her time, and they really didn't want to lose me. They did eventually find Cal, yeah. He was hiding out in a cabin in the woods, hoping no one would come looking. The explanation he gave was that he wanted to go to college, and he couldn't be locked down for 2 to 3 years, and above all, he couldn't handle the responsibility of mentoring the last Alpha's kid. That might have explained the initial panic and why he didn't help me through it, but he still should have gone for help after he got me restrained. The administration named him responsible for the deaths of that family, but since he was still a minor, he went to a rehab facility in Montana for 5 years. He came back afterward, but he wasn't the same. I didn't hold it against him. He was a scared teenager, and he made a really, really bad call. I tried to work with him to heal that broken bond between us, but it didn't matter in the end. After a year of trying to reintegrate into our pack, he tried to... Well, we had a falling out, and he left. Due to the nature of it, he was kicked out permanently. It hit me pretty hard. But that's the reason that Cal can't hurt me, and why I'm so good at tracking him. The bond between mentor and student is not easily broken. Even though he never actually stepped up to fill the role, I can't change that instinct, and neither can he. Yeah, that's why I want to leave Evergreen. Too many memories here. I can't get away from my past. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for everyone here who helped me, who stood by me, but they don't need my help. And I can't bear to be here. It's just a reminder of what could have been. But now I'm stuck here for a while. Thanks to Cal, and thanks to you. So what do you say we see this through, huh? Let's get Cal under control and make sure he can't hurt anyone, then we'll get you up to snuff. And in a couple of years, I'll be gone, and you can do whatever you like. Come with me where exactly? I don't even know where I'm going yet. I'll think about it. Hey, I didn't say no outright, so don't push your luck. Anyway, now you know. Thank you for listening. Yeah, well, if I can't trust my student, then I can't trust anyone, right? Good night, Rookie.